feel bad. I thought that was Bruce. Lil Yummy. I thought this was Bruce too. I thought this was Bruce's profile picture. Chicago 11-year-old killer. Can we see Lil Yummy?
The story of Lil Yummy is probably the saddest and most insane story I've...
Is this not Bruce's profile pic?
The story of Lil Yummy is probably the saddest and most insane story I've ever talked about on my channel. Lil Yummy was born Robert Sandifer in the south side of Chicago on the 12th of March, 1983. His now famous nickname, Lil Yummy, came from the boy's love of cookies. He was never given a real chance in life. Both Yummy's parents were teens when he was born. As a baby, his mother was a prostitute and his father was in jail.
This is a very serious topic to put over a trap beat.
Mother used to beat her children violently, and at only 4, he was taken away.
Sounds like an intro to an album.
To live with his grandmother. Things didn't get much better for Yummy, though. His grandmother was housing 19 children, so Yummy ended up being completely neglected. He was also abused by his grandmother, and Yummy would often be found with cigarette burns all over his body. At only 8 years old, Yummy dropped out of school and became...
And it's the AI voice. I feel like he about to troll or something. Like, I feel like he about to say something funny with the AI voice, but it's just a documentary video.
Involved in the streets. Crazily, at this age, Yummy learned how to drive and began robbing cars. He also became known in his neighborhood
used to get
for
beaten
breaking into houses. At this time, he fell in with the black disciples who used kids as drug runners because they would receive such light sentencing. Yummy even got BDN tattooed on his right forearm, which stood for Black Disciple Nation. At 10, Yummy was arrested for armed robbery. The police, after arresting Yummy, took him to a psychological examiner who reported Robert is a child growing up without any encouragement and support, and that he has a sense of failure that has infiltrated almost every aspect of his inner self. Not long after this arrest, he was sent to the Lawrence Hall DCFS shelter on Chicago's North Side. This was a place for troubled homeless boys to stay. But Yummy ran away and continued his life of crime.
Damn. I was about to say, like, should kids like this even like be charged with like crimes? I feel like they should go to like somewhere where they could like be, what's it called? Is rehabilitated like a appropriate word? What's the word I'm thinking of? Like, they should like fix their like habits type shit, a place where they could fix their habits.
Activities meant Yummy had 23 felonies at the age of 11. He genuinely scared cops, lawyers, and judges.
Depending on like the situation. Depending on the situation, I feel like
because of how little he cared. An interview with
if it's like a kid like this who was raised without like guidance and I feel like they shouldn't like be charged with, or they should go not to prison, but like to somewhere where they can fix their habits, become like proper people.
The lady who lived on his block describes very well how bad he really was.
How long did you know him?
Since I've been staying around here.
How long was that?
About a year.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What was he like?
Bad.
Bad? Like, when you say bad, what do you mean?
Fighting, stealing, breaking in people's houses.
I think you should have asked this question.
Yeah?
Shut up!
Damn.
Open up that door.
Did you ever see, like, the police coming to his house?
A 10-year-old?
Every other day.
Every other day the police would come
The
to
book
his
hit the baby Ted.
Yeah.
Yo, why you laughing,
like,
bro?
When you found out that he was killed, right? What did you think?
It's not funny, bro.
I mean, it shocked me. He shouldn't have got killed like that. I mean, he didn't have to die the way he was killed, but that's the life you live. That's what happened.
At 11, he was supplied with a gun by a member of his gang and began flexing it to scare people on his block. Sadly, this gun would be the beginning of Yummy's end. A BD member ordered the 4'6" child to carry out a hit on a rival. He approached a group of boys standing on South Perry Avenue around 6:30. Yummy walked up to 16-year-old Keonta Britton and asked him what gang he claimed. Britton told the 11-year-old he wasn't involved before Yummy pulled out a gun and shot him in the stomach at point-blank range.
And then knock him with a novel.
Sprinted away and police quickly arrived on the scene. The police asked the victim who shot him, and Britton replied, "Yummy shot me. I knew it was Yummy. I saw his face before he shot me." Clearly, Yummy, despite his young age, was well known to his rivals. Thankfully, Britton was able to be saved, but Yummy's next victim later that day wouldn't be so lucky. Only 2 hours later, Yummy came back. Just around the corner of where he shot Britton earlier, he spotted 6 guys playing football. He walked up with no mask, wearing a shirt that just said "Boss," and opened fire erratically.
What the
Bullets
fuck?
went everywhere. A parked van was hit, a house window was hit, and tragically 14-year-old Shavon Latrice Dean was hit in the head. Shavon, who wasn't even with the boys but simply walking past, died an hour later. The boys Yummy was trying to shoot identified him to police, and a manhunt for the 11-year-old began. Yummy began living in abandoned houses while being supported by some BDs. CPD and even the FBI were now looking for him. Yummy decided he was going to turn himself in and went back to his old neighborhood 3 days after the murder. Here, he met his neighbor, who he asked to call his grandmother and to pray for him. When the neighbor came back out, he was gone. Little did Yummy know, high-ranking BDs decided he needed to be killed because they feared the little child would become an informant. After being threatened by their own gang, BD brothers Craig and Derek Hardaway agreed to kill Yummy.
I'm not gonna lie.
To kill him.
Why did Robert die?
I thought it was just a hard-ass profile picture before I even saw this video.
Your life versus his life?
I didn't even know it was
You thought it was that
some
simple
crazy shit.
as either you do this or you die.
And that's how it always boils down. It's not like any wiggle room when you live in that lifestyle.
I thought it was like a young, like...
choice.
Yes.
At first,
That's what I'm
I thought it was his, like... I thought it was him. I thought that was, like, Bruce. I thought, like, it was him as a child type shit.
saying.
When the neighbor went inside to call...
And then I thought it was, like, probably a kid celebrity or some shit. I don't know. I don't know what I thought.
Grandmother, the brothers drove up to Yummy and promised to get him out of Chicago. The brothers drove Yummy to a railroad underpass. They ordered Yummy to get out of the car and get on his knees. Once he did so, 16-year-old Craig shot him twice in the back of the head, killing Yummy. They left the body, which was found the following day. Yummy's story became world famous after his death,
light-skinned nigga
even
in the
making the
mugshot?
cover of Time magazine. His tragic story became synonymous with the struggle of impoverished
talking about
children
Carmelo,
across the nation,
his
who
other
have been
profile
completely
picture?
abandoned by the world. Yummy's story had a big effect on Tupac. Tupac often mentioned Yummy and dissed BDs
That's
for what
Carmelo
they did to him.
Anthony.
Do you feel for those mothers who lost their
Fat,
children
light-skinned
and
is
babies
crazy.
to senseless gang and youth violence? Do you have a message
Is that Tupac?
of consolation for those mothers?
Yeah, I do.
No, that's not Tupac.
Like with Yummy, when he passed on, you know, I know that hurt his family. I know it hurt the family of the
Wait,
female
what?
he supposedly have,
That's Carmelo Anthony.
you know, shot. Just recently,
His
this
other
lady wrote
profile
me
picture,
that-
that's
The two
Carmelo
brothers were
Anthony.
found guilty of murder and served 2 decades.
I don't know him. He's a
Derek
basketball
was released
player.
in 2016, and Craig in
Fat light skin
2020.
is so crazy.
The only positive light in this story is the pair managed to turn their lives around while in jail. After being completely abandoned by the BDs who put no money on the brothers' books, Craig and Derek left the gang.
Why not tell?
Because I was believing in the foolishness they was telling me as far as the gangs and that lifestyle.
What did they tell you?
How they gonna be there, support, take care of us, our families, everything.
And?
Nothing. Literally nothing. No letter, no contact, no money for me, my family, they needs, no lawyer, literally nothing.
Both got their GEDs and associated degrees. Derek learned to landscape by working in the prison garden, and Crag is involved in anti-violence programs. It's easy to look at Yummy as a gangster who died the way he lived, but he was a child who never received support from anyone. He was a child who grew up in an environment where a bed to sleep on was a luxury. We're all influenced.
This is that like nature versus nurture like debate that's gonna run on forever. Like both play a very, very, like, trust me, your environment can definitely shape you, bro. Your environment is just as much as, like, it's just as on par with nurture.
Heavily by our environment. His environment was violence with no guidance. They're really
like, this could have been anyone, bro. This could have been me. This could have been anyone else on the planet, bro.
Has to be questions asked of a society that allows an 8-year-old child to drop out of school with nothing else for him to do. Rest in peace to both Siobhan, Latrice, Dean, and Yummy.
Everybody's just like, you know, I don't know, bro.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
Everybody just going off, living their life based off of where they're at, and you know what I'm saying, how they come up, bro.
If you made it
really
to the
makes
end,
you.
it's free and really helps me out. Check out some of the other videos on my channel on screen now.
All we can do, bro, is just hope that there's more stabilization in like hood areas and like ghetto areas where like shit like this won't be a problem. So like, you know what I'm saying, kids can like distract themselves with something else. I'm so happy like I had video games and YouTube as a distraction, because I didn't live in the hood, but I definitely lived in like ghetto areas. I'm glad art and video games, you know what I'm saying, came into my life, because, you know what I'm saying, this dead ass could have been anyone, bro. This dead ass could have been anyone. Like, a lot of children don't be having resources like to even get into art or to get into hobbies to even stop them from doing like crime shit. More shit like that needs to be like, more art schools need to be built in like those type of neighborhoods, bro.